Always be on the lookout for new opportunity. Hello, you all. I'm Diana Brienne. Well, I got to thinking about new opportunity. My son today, he said, Mom, he said, I'm going to go out and check out this new sports type of place. And so he did. He went out there, and it was one that I had never heard of or he had heard of before. And he really, really likes it. So we're going to check it out a little bit further to see if it's actually a right option for us. But they have all kinds of different sports activities that our regular gym doesn't seem to have. And even though we'll continue on with our regular gym, this is just one more opportunity, an addition that we can add into his life in a positive way. And so what I'm saying is that he saw an opportunity and he went and checked it out. Now, not all opportunities that we check out are going to be right for our lives. Sometimes we check an opportunity out and it just doesn't apply for us. And yet, often when we open ourselves up to the potential and possibility of new opportunities, we will discover things that can absolutely enhance our life for the better. So I'm always on the lookout for new opportunities, new friendships, new places to go, new things to do, new ideas that would be applicable to my life. And I think a lot of times people get stuck in life and they don't look for new opportunity. They just keep doing the same things over and over and over again, and which can be good. Sometimes same is good, and yet if they're bored with it, or if they're just kind of treading water, sometimes adding something new to our life can be an absolutely wonderful way to flavor our lives and continue on with the things that we already have, but it kind of can add to what we already have. From my house to yours, may God bless you, and I hope to talk to you soon again. Bye-bye. Change our attitude, change our energy, change our lives. Hello, you all. I'm Diana Brienne. Well, I'm sitting out here on my back screened-in porch, and someone called me and told me there's going to be a big storm. So I probably will not go out to run. I don't know if for certain there's going to be a storm, but if there is, I don't want to get caught in it. Rain or shine, I go out and run, but not in big storms. I use discretion when I go running. So I got to thinking about change our attitude, change our life, change our energy. The energy that we're giving out, the attitude that we're giving out, often we will receive back from other people or from the environments or from the situations. I believe that when we change our energy for the positive, we can change our situations for the better in many cases, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a job, whether it's a social situation, or whether it's almost anything else. Our attitude plays such a big part in our lives and how our lives turn out. Some people are just so negative. Everything is negative, and then they wonder why their relationships are negative. Then they wonder why their job is negative. Then they wonder why they don't have any friends, or their friends are not so good. Often it has to do with the energy that we're giving out, the momentum that we're giving out, the attitude that we're giving out. Because often that attitude, that momentum, that energy shapes the environment around us. If we go into work every day and we've got this negative spirit about the job, often the people and the environment will react negatively to us. Whereas if we go into that job with a can-do spirit, often that environment will shift and change for the better. And if it can't change for the better, sometimes it's wise to look for another job. And I believe some environments are just not going to change, but our attitude can change. And when our attitude changes, our lives tend to change for the better. And in a relationship, if we have this, lackluster attitude and lackluster energy, often our relationships are going to lack luster. Whereas if we have energy and enthusiasm and positivity about our relationships, even one that has kind of gone negative, often that will turn that relationship around in a positive direction. Sometimes it won't, and in situations like that, we've got to decide, do we want to stay in the relationship or not stay in the relationship? Either way, we've changed for the better. Our attitude is a positive one. Our attitudes and our energy really do affect the environments around us. So I always work at keeping my attitude positive. When I get up out of bed in the morning, I have a positive attitude. What can I accomplish today that's going to improve and make my life better and make the lives around the people that are around me better? And I always think from a positive point of view. I deal with reality. I'm a realistic optimist, and yet I'm a very positive person. I'm a positive optimist. I believe in the can-do spirit. I believe in having positive energy. I believe in hanging out with people who have positive energy, because really and truly, our energy will affect the people around us, and our energy enthusiasm will affect our relationships, our jobs, our social situations, almost every area of our lives. Even our goals. Our attitude can affect our goals and how we approach that goal. If we have the attitude, oh, I don't know if I can accomplish this, that kind of puts the brakes on it. But if we have the attitude of, I can do this, we're more likely to create a situation that we can make that dream goal or vision happen for our lives. So having a great attitude, having great positive energy is a wonderful thing. And I often say, change your attitude, change your energy, change your life for the better. From my house to yours, may God bless you, and I hope to talk to you all soon again. And I think we are going to have a storm. May God bless you. Have a wonderful day. Talk to you later. Bye-bye. Build your life on solid decisions. Build your life on solid decisions. Hello, y'all. I'm Diana Brienne. So we're having this beautiful, beautiful day today. And it's early evening now. And it's just been wonderful, wonderful day out here on Grandma's porch. And I've worked in the garden, did my 5-mile run, did my college work all day. A little bit tired, but I feel great nonetheless. And so I got to thinking today about build your life on solid decisions. You know, some people expect their lives to turn out wonderful when they're building their lives on very flimsy choices and decisions, choices that they knowingly know that are probably not good choices, but yet somehow they expect those choices to turn out great. I believe that our choices and decisions do affect our lives. They can affect it in the short term, and they can affect it in the long term. And sometimes we make short-term decisions that feel good, but long-term they're not going to be so good. Or sometimes we can make long-term decisions that we don't feel good about in the moment. But the best kind of decisions are the decisions that we feel good in the present time and we feel good in the future. I don't like to forego my present for my future or my future for my present. I like both to be in harmony in my decision making. And so some people, you know, build their life like the 3 little pigs, you know, the straw house, the wood house, and the brick house. And I like to be the 3rd little pig that builds my decisions like the brick house, solid, sturdy decisions if at all possible. And so when making decisions, I see people who make just such flimsy decisions, and their lives are always in a state of disarray from one year to the next to the next. Their life really doesn't change because their decision making doesn't change. They may change environments, they may change jobs, they may change relationships, but they continue to make poor decisions. And those poor decisions can often create disharmony in just about all areas of their lives. But I know other people that make great decisions, and they make great decisions even during tough and difficult and challenging times, and their lives tend to stand so much better, so much sturdy, and they tend to find the successes that they would like to have in life because they're making the most informed, best choices that they know how to make. And so I believe in looking at our choices and decisions and making great decisions in our lives. From my house to yours, may God bless you, and I hope to talk to you soon again. Bye-bye. Get over it by changing what you talk about. thinking about it. Hello, you all. I'm Diana Brienne. And I got to thinking about people who just are going over and over and over something. And it's usually a problem, or it's usually some unhappy thing that they're going over and over and over. They're trying to process it. They're trying to come up with ideas or solutions, or perhaps they've just been traumatized by it and they're just trying to, come to grips with it. And I got all that. And sometimes we have to do those things. And yet I think that we reach a point sometimes where it can take over our lives. That's all we talk about. That's all we talk to our spouses about, our kids about, our parents about, our friends about. And sometimes we just have to quit thinking about it, quit talking about it, and shift our focus onto something very, very positive. I've known people that have experienced things in life and they've not been able to easily get over it, so they just talk about it and talk about it and talk about it. And I don't believe in suppressing things and holding things in. And yet I also don't believe in going over and over and over things, because I often think that it doesn't do good. And sometimes it can even cause some damage. And so I believe the quicker that we can move on in life, sometimes the better. Yes, we do have to deal with problems. Yes, we do have to deal with things that's happened to us. Yes, we do have to deal, and create solutions and answers and things like that. But sometimes going over and over and over it, and driving the people around us crazy too by going over it all the time, is just simply not going to do any good. And it can push people away, and it also can create a lot of unhappiness in our own lives. And so sometimes I think we just have to shift our thoughts and stop talking about it and stop thinking about it, and just move on to positive self-talk and positive conversations with others about other topics, about can-do topics, about positive topics. It's amazing how people love to talk about problems, but so often you don't hear them talking about their dreams, their goals, their ambitions. Sometimes when friends get together, it's just talking about problems. Husbands and wives are talking about problems. The parents are talking to the kids about problems. The kids are talking to their parents about problems. And sometimes, yes, we do have to talk about problems. And yet we should also be talking about positive things in our lives, dreams, goals, ambitions, all the good stuff in life as well. So sometimes we just simply have to quit thinking about it, quit talking about it, and move forward in life in a most positive way by changing our thoughts and changing what we're giving focus to, and change it to focusing on something very, very positive. From my house to yours, may God bless you, and I hope to talk to you soon again. Bye-bye. Compliments. Give out honest compliments. Hello, you all. I'm Diana Brienne, and I got to thinking today about compliments. Some people hold on to an honest compliment like a dog does with a bone. They just can't give that compliment out. They feel like, well, if they give that compliment out, it's going to cost them something. In most cases, we feel a sense of reward when we can give out an honest compliment to someone. It gives us a sense of satisfaction that we are confident enough in who we are that we can tell someone else something good about who they are. I always believe the compliment has to be honest. Otherwise, it's not really a compliment. It's just kind of fake, and people can read through that. So when I'm talking to someone, I always try to find something that I like about them that's honest. And then I tend to give them that feedback. It always has to be appropriate, socially appropriate. We can't just go up to, it wouldn't be appropriate for me to go up to a strange man and say, oh, you're so good looking. I don't think that would go over well. Or for a man to go up to a woman and say that he doesn't know and say, oh, you're so beautiful, I just think you're so beautiful. So to me, we have to remember to respect social guidelines and social boundaries. And having said that, if it is correct, if it's correct socially, and if it's acceptable and it's right, I love to give compliments. Last night we were at a dinner, and there was a woman who was at dinner. I had not met her before, and it was kind of a large group of people, so I really didn't get the opportunity to talk to her. And she was leaving on her way out the door, and I made sure to get up. We were aware of each other's presence and who each other was. And I went over to her and I tapped her on the shoulder and I said, I just want to tell you that I think you are so very beautiful. And it was an honest compliment because she was and she is. And her face just lit up. Now, granted, sometimes people don't know how to accept a compliment. And so we have to remember some people don't know how to accept a compliment, or they'll go, oh, no, that's not true. Well, you know what? If we tell someone it's not true, then we're kind of saying that they're wrong. So if someone gives me a compliment and it's an honest compliment, I'm very grateful for it. I love honest compliments and I can never hear them enough. I don't live my life for compliments because I don't. I don't need to have compliments to validate who I am. But it's sort of the icing on the cake. It's nice to have them. And so I love to give out compliments, but honest ones. And so I'm a frequent honest complimenter. And so I look for things to compliment people on. Great job that you did. You did such an awesome job. Wow, you did a great job on cleaning your car. My sons clean my cars, our cars. And when they finish it, if they've done a great job, I say, hey, you have done such an awesome job on the car. Make sure to give out honest compliments, okay? Well, from my house to yours, may God bless you. I hope you subscribe, and I hope to talk to you all soon again. Bye-bye. Life is always changing. Change. Life is always changing. Hello, y'all. I'm Diana Brienne. I got to thinking about changes, that life is always in the state of change. And I believe that it's important that we learn the art of adaptation. Because when life changes, if we stay exactly the same, often it's not going to work to our benefit. So when life changes, often we have to kind of grow into that change, whatever it happens to be. The world is always changing. The environments around us are always changing. Even when things don't seem to change, things are changing. I believe it's important that we learn to adapt, that we learn to morph in a sense, that we learn to adjust to changes around us. I believe that growth can take place in almost any environment. Yes, some environments are better than others for us to grow and flourish in, and some environments it's more challenging. And yet, I believe in even a challenging situation, we can often grow and flourish. And yet, we have to adapt and change in order to do that. I believe that things are always changing. Life is always changing. Our relationships are always changing. People are always changing. Our jobs are always changing. Our neighborhoods are always changing. Life is always changing. And so if we think everything is going to stay the same, I think we're probably fooling ourselves because it probably isn't. And if we continue to interact once those changes have taken place, if we continue to interact the same way we did before, often it's not going to be to our benefit. In other words, we have to adjust. If we go to work every day and then say that several people quit the job and new people came in, we have to adjust to new personalities. We have to adjust to a new work environment, in a sense, because the old co-workers left and new ones came in. So life is always changing, but we can flourish and we can grow and we can have a positive experience in nearly any change that takes place. We just have to learn how to adjust and adapt and make it to our benefit. from my house to yours. May God bless you, and I hope to talk to you soon again. Bye-bye. California, here I come, stories from my life. California, here I come, stories from my life. Hello you all, I'm Diana Brienne. Well, I've tried to start this video about 20 times. And each time the phone rang, then I took the phone off the hook, my husband walked through the video, my kids walked down the stairs, the doors slammed, the cats came through the room. I should have just left it all in, right? And it's all good. So I'm restarting once again. So I usually come on now and then and I tell stories from my life. Now, sometimes they're in order and sometimes they're not, but they're all true stories. And I love to share my stories with you all. And I love to hear your stories as well. I love to hear other people's stories. And so this one is a continuation from last night's story called Summer Love, the cute guy with 100 parking tickets, which was a continuation of the story from the night before. So if you haven't heard it, you might want to go back and listen to it. And so I'm kind of picking up, I'm coming to the end of the year at the university, in a Southern-like university. And my mom came and picked me up in her new Pontiac in the 1970s. And she said, hey, you know, you've got the whole summer off. Let's take off for a new adventure. So my mom and I, with our suitcases in the car, take off, not knowing where we are going to go. So we go to Memphis and visit some friends there. And then we head on to New Orleans. But we didn't quite make New Orleans on that trip. But we ended up thinking, well, we'll go to Texas where we have family. But just maybe we'll go to California where we have family out there too. Well, we came to the fork in the road. One way was to Texas and one way was to California. So we really didn't know which way to go. So I prayed. I said, Lord, which way should we go? Should we go left or should we go right? Well, we ended up going right and headed for California. Before I knew it, we were crossing into the border, and I think it was Needles, California. And we stayed at like a Motel 6 type of place with a swimming pool. And I remember sitting out there by the pool on a really hot day with movie star magazines. And I think that was back when Charlie's Angels was around and very new. And I was like, oh, if I could only be a movie star. I had all these amazing dreams. And I believe in having dreams. And so, well, we ended up at a beach town where my aunt lived and her family, but we stayed initially at a little motel and nearby. And I remember watching the show called Alice, where she was a waitress. And I kind of related to that at the time because I had no idea what I was going to do for a career. I was 18 or 19 years old and coming into California and didn't know. And I didn't even know if we were going to stay there or just visit. Well, 2 days later, we ended up renting an apartment, and it was a nice apartment, 1 bedroom, and it had a swimming pool. My mom wasn't going to live there. She was just going to stay for a little while. But I had no job, didn't know if I was going to go to school, had no idea. So I did get a job as a secretary, even though I didn't have secretarial skills. And so I worked at that for a little bit, and then I went and I took, at the suggestion of a lady that I had met, I had went to a nursing school and applied and took all the tests. But I realized I couldn't afford to go to nursing school, so I kind of just said, forget that, I'm not going to do that. And I sat down on my bedroom floor in the apartment And I said, God, I've done everything I could. I took all the tests, filled out all the applications, and if you want me to go to nursing school, you'll have to make it happen. Well, I started looking for another job. I went to Newport Beach, and while I was gone, my mom got the phone call from the nursing school, and they asked why I had not returned, that I had done excellent on the testing. My mom said, well, she doesn't have the money to go, and it's a lot of money. And they said, well, you know what? We have a program. We'll put her on, and we'll pay for all of her living expenses and pay for her tuition and her books. What a miracle. My prayers were answered. And so away I went to nursing school, about an hour away from where I lived. And so I had to buy a car because my mom was leaving with her car. And so I had to have a car. And so we bought this $450 blue Mazda, what was actually red, and I paid $25 to have it painted, which did not look so good. Had no radio and no air conditioning, and it was just a basic car that got me from point A to point B. It didn't look very good. And so I went to nursing school. While I was at nursing school, I met this manly woman, and she was married to another manly woman back when it wasn't acceptable. And so we became friends, and she said, well, you could ride with me. I live nearby. So she would pick me up in what I called the man-mobile. It was like a 1964, 65 huge Chrysler. And away we would roar down the road to nursing school each day, and in her manly car. But along the way, we picked up another student who had some phobias, and he couldn't stand the freeway. So every time we got on the freeway, he would scream something like, let's get off, I'm gonna puke. And we had to give him a bag because he would throw up, and he just couldn't stand the traffic. And so, every day that went on with him, and every day she would pick me up in the man car, and we would stop at a restaurant and get coffee in the morning, and people thought I was her girlfriend. And her wife actually got a little bit jealous. And it was fun. It was wonderful. She was wonderful. And so we all went to nursing school, and that was a very interesting time of my life, and it opened up a lot of amazing doors for me. Fast forward a few years, I ended up getting a job in LA at an amazing place, and that in itself opened up many, many doors for me. And that's another video, a whole bunch of other videos called Young Doctor in Love, where I fell madly in love with a young doctor, and he fell madly in love with me. And then the mansion, the famous mansion that I got to go to, and then the 4 famous brothers, and the movie star, and so many other wonderful, amazing stories to add to this story. So this is kind of the foundation for other stories to be told. And so I hope you stay tuned, and I hope you enjoyed my story tonight about how I got into nursing school, the manly car, the manly woman, and the guy with all the phobias. And then there was me, 18, 19, 20-year-old me going to nursing school. So may God bless you. Enjoy the stories from your life, and I hope you enjoy the stories from my life. Have a wonderful night. May God bless you, and I hope you subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I hope to talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Compassion. Compassion is one of the most redeeming qualities a person can have. Compassion. Hello, you all. I'm Diana Brienne. You know, one of the most redeeming qualities or traits that I admire in someone is compassion. When someone is compassionate, I just so admire that. You know, I believe that compassion is sometimes a lost art or a dying art in many cases. You know, compassion means that you can feel empathy for another person, that you listen to another person, that you care about another person or people, that you can sometimes put yourself emotionally in the same place that that person is feeling what they're feeling so you can understand it. You're compassionate, you're loving, you're understanding. You take the time to be with another person. You know, everyone has a different set of circumstances. You know, when I get on these different live streams and I listen to people, and every live stream is different, you know. One live stream, it's all about bickering between people. Their circumstances are different in their life. And then I get another one, it's all about positivity and living your best life like mine is. And so I realize that everyone's circumstances is different. It's unique. We all have different things going on in our lives, different likes, dislikes, different history, you know, all of that. And yet one thing we can all come together on is compassion and understanding that maybe your circumstances may be different than mine and mine may be different than yours. We can be compassionate and understanding towards each other. You know, I think that sometimes people live in such being so judgmental. And of course, we all, you know, have our way of, you know, judging whether something's right or whether something's wrong, at least for our own lives. But I think some people live in being judgmental. That is just who they are. And I don't like to be around people like that because they're very, very hard lined. Yes, I have my set of standards. Yes, I have my set of rules, my set of beliefs. But just because I may disagree with someone does not necessarily mean that I'm going to discount them in any way, because I'm not. I realize that, you know, that their way for them may be right for them. It may even be wrong for them, but that's their life. And I can still show compassion and I can still show love. And so just remember, if you have compassion, you have one of the most redeeming qualities that a person can have. And if you see compassion in other people, it's one of the most admirable qualities that someone can have. From my house to yours, may God bless you, and I hope to talk to you soon again. Bye-bye. Don't support someone else's negative habits. Hello, you all. I'm Diana Brienne. Well, you know, I believe there's a word called codependency. That's someone who supports someone else's negative habits, from my understanding. I'm not sure of what the correct definition is because I'm not an expert in that area. And I'm just a common sense mom, okay? And I apply common sense to my life. So if I see someone who has a bad habit of any kind, it could be eating the wrong foods, it could be smoking cigarettes, it could be whatever. I don't support that habit or encourage that habit. And I believe codependency does. I remember someone growing up would go out and buy someone else's cigarettes for them. That was a sense of codependency in a way, and it was supporting a negative habit. And so I believe in not supporting someone else's negative habit any more than I would want someone to support my negative habit if I had one. So I do believe that a lot of people support each other's bad habits one way or the other. Sort of like, you know, I love to go to buffets, but I don't because I'm vegan and I take care of my health. But let's say I had a friend who was very encouraging of eating out, and she'd say, hey, let's go to the all-you-can-eat buffet. And I'd say, gosh, okay, because I'd be very tempted. So I want to surround myself with people who can help keep me in line towards the direction that I want to go, not towards a direction that's not good for me. And in that case, it would be going to the all-you-can-eat buffet and stuffing myself with food that I don't want to eat. So it's important to surround ourselves with people who are going to encourage us in the right direction, not encourage us in the wrong direction. So I believe in not being supportive of other people's negative habits. From my house to yours, may God bless you, and I hope to talk to you soon again. Bye-bye. Hello, you all. I'm Diana Brienne, and I'm just getting in here to college. And it's about an hour drive in and then an hour drive home. And so I try to get here a few minutes early if I can, so that I have time enough to, if there's traffic or anything like that. And so, yeah, I come in here and go to college, and then I go home and I do all my projects and homework, and it's a lot of them. But, it's all good. It's all good. And I'm happy to be back in college at age 62. And, it's kind of a really, really new experience, because college has changed a lot from 40 years ago when I was first in college, and everything is computerized now, and you really have to do computerized everything, and so I really wasn't used to that when we first started. Now I'm used to working on a computer, but I wasn't used to the degree that we work on the computer now in the classroom setting. So it's all good. It's all good. And I just got to thinking about, living your best life and getting out there and making your life happen. Most of the time in life, life is not going to happen unless we make it happen. And, we can wish all we want, talk about it all we want, but until we come up with a plan and step out with the right plan for our lives, not much is likely to happen. And then when we do, often we find that we have to, use energy and time, and sometimes we have to rearrange our lives to fit in what it is that we're pursuing. I know when I went back to college, I really had to change my life around and how I do things, because, well, this takes up a lot of time. And the things that I did before, such as an artist, I was painting all the time. I will always paint, but to the degree I painted before, I can't do it as much. So I've had to change my schedule a lot and rearrange it. And fortunately, my family, understands that and supports me. And of course, we have, an amazing family, and we all support each other on our journeys towards a positive life and lifestyle. Some people live a negative lifestyle and they seek out negative things, whereas when you live a positive lifestyle, you're going to seek out what is positive for your life and for those around you. You want the best for those around you, and you want the best for yourself. And it is good to, look at things and say, hey, no, this doesn't belong in my life. Learning to say no to what doesn't belong, and learning to say yes to what does belong. And so I'm always reevaluating things and refining things and tweaking things, and always working at improving everything in my life. Well, I better get in there and get started. And so love you all much. I wish you all a great day, and I hope to talk to you all soon again. And I hope you subscribe to my YouTube channel. So from my college to wherever you're at, may God bless you, and I'll talk to you then.